All right, we got a big semi-final series here between Shopify Rebellion Scarlet in the bottom left-hand side, and the top right it's Alpha X Estrella, and these guys are competing. These two players, of course, Canadian Scarlet, she is from I think like Toronto area, Estrella from San Diego area down in California. And yeah, basically this is a big match. This is the semifinals of the weekly American ESL Open. $800 prize pool on the line. Best of 5 series, so first to 3 maps wins. Scarlet just dispatched a couple of PROTOSS players and she's looking in fine form. Estrella, though, just took out Cure, one of the favorites to win the entire tournament. Actually, probably the overall favorite, a player who regularly wins the Korean and the North American weekly cups. Only usually stopped by Zest, who's taking a break from both tournaments this week. Hopefully it's not his military time yet, but it's kind of weird to see his name not in there. Nexus goes up behind this as that probe is very annoying. Nexus mines 5 minerals while waiting to get 150 minerals. You see 150 minerals, the Cyber Core goes down. Perfectly timed out and orchestrated build. Notice Estrella there just occupying these mineral patches so Scarlet can't mine from it, but not staying on it long enough to actually harvest the minerals, just occupying it, as only one worker can mine a mineral at a time. So you notice him there being annoying, and she has to select her drone and then spam click on it to stop them bouncing away. So she's like, oi! Oi! Notice that drone there just got pulled off. So very annoying to deal with. Estrella there just doing his due diligence. Now Estrella's been very Stargate focused recently. He's also been doing a lot of Nexus first on Blackburn. I believe he opened up his series versus Scarlet in DreamHack Fall with that. So he's got a lot of very different openings. Estrella is kind of one of these PROTOSS players who's very, very good, but because he so often hangs around in dangerous areas with small armies, it's how he wins games, is threatening with small unit sets and being insanely efficient while macroing insanely hard behind it. He's almost always hitting his economy harder than most PROTOSS players. But it's that also can cause trouble for him. Because every now and then, he does get caught out. Suddenly he's getting jumped on 2 sides of the map at once. His army's all split up, and if you don't control your Disruptors, your High Templar, these sorts of units that he likes to rely on too well, you can end up in trouble. Now, something we noticed from that last time they played is that Scarlet, she actually likes playing Lurkers up against Estrella. She does not mind playing Lurkers and Vipers and going to late game and, you know, really just playing a very slow, turtled up game against Estrella. And Estrella likes to play Stalker Disruptor. Now, when Scarlet played against Neeb in the grand finals of the American DreamHack Fall, she actually ran into a different style of PROTOSS, and that was a charge style with a Mortal Archon charge and Psystorm from Neeb. And she did not play Lurkers in any of those games. She played Ravager, Bane, Broodlord. Like, she did not want to play Lurkers against the Immortal Storm Zealot army. I think she felt like she'd, you know, it would give up too much mobility, and that army would kind of run circles around her. But the Stalker army, where Stalkers are a bit lower damage, a bit more expensive, and they kind of want to push into one area, she usually seems to feel very confident doing that. Now, that's far down the track. Keep in mind, guys, she has scouted a DT Shrine. This is a 2-gate DT build with a very quick third base. So what's cool here is a lot of Zergs will panic and freak out here. The question is, does she realize how low the gate count is? If she does, she can drone straight to 50 workers here, defend with next to nothing. This is actually a light pressure. The DTs just defend your third base from getting sniped. That's essentially all it does, right? Look at this. It's the last game of her playing against Geralt, we were just casting where he got 4 DTs warped in about 10 seconds later than this, but still, it's only 2 DTs. It's a light pressure. Estrella will go in, probably won't get anything done here. The Overlord does see those Adepts, not sure if she noticed it though. DTs will kill a drone, pick up, rotate into the main base, and just basically checking that she's built spores everywhere, freaking her out a little bit because it was just 2. She's already droned up to 46 drones behind this. DT's rotating into the main. He isn't really finding any damage, but he's got a much quicker third than you're usually able to do with one of these early Prism builds. Now, the weak spot is the fact that he's on 2 gateways. He's going Forge, which is cool. He can get upgrades. He's got a Robo. He's not using his Robo. I'd love to see him get an Observer and then get into a Mortal production, because the threat of just a big Roach attack across this map, especially when you've opened up with any sort of DT build, is always there. But he's actually skimping on it, which tells us he might be looking for his follow-up Zealot Archon attack. Obviously, it'd be a 3-base Zealot Archon attack, but if he doesn't use that Robo, He might wait for +1. He might make a second warp prism and just kind of warp, drop 2 Archons, warp in 8 Zealots in the main or 10 Zealots, and then also attack the front with another 2 Archons and another 10 Zealots. That sort of attack, very popular against greedy Zerg players. We've been mentioning Scarlet's quite greedy, so I don't think it would be a big surprise if he did that. Now, his Observer. Oh, she doesn't actually move the Overseer over, so she doesn't kill the Observer. That's very good for Estrella. You've got to be careful. You usually don't want to tell the Observer to follow the Prism if you're worried about it running into dangerous territory. Oh, she's coming. She's walking Queens. It's the exact same build she uses against Stargate. She's doing a Queen Walk. She's doing a Queen Walk against a ground plate. Now, the Queens are just a good tanky support unit. They heal. They've got range to shoot down the Prism as well. It makes it harder for you to just juggle your units when there's Queens around. And Estrella sees this army. He's building cannons and batteries. He's got a little squad of Immortal, but he doesn't have any batteries out here. This army, way out in the open. Oh, this is so scary. Look at how much damage the Robo took. Oh, he might just be dead. Oh, saves an Immortal, saves some of these sentries. Good Prism Micro so far. Okay, he saves a lot of those units, but Robo's dead, and that's his most important tech structure. Now, all he can do is build Zealots and Archons. I mean, this is one of those situations where you're like, do I click on the Overseer and then warp in DTs? Like, how do I hold on this so much? But actually, charge Archon. Look at the Zerglings. They all just disappeared. Okay, Scarlet might need to just do a Zergling run by into the main and disengage. I think she's been held. The Ravagers are still very good. There's no battery overcharge for another 30 seconds. She's going to take out that... Oh, no! His Prism had an Immortal in it! He loses the battery, the Prism with an Immortal in it, and the Warp Prism itself, of course, all going down. Oh, he was so close to holding this as well. He's only got 6 gateways up so far. He doesn't have any batteries left. Ravager's very good versus Archons. I mean, 1 Zealot warp in will slay these Ravagers, right? You get like 6 Zealots on them, they're dead. The Archon is so weak, though, it's got to pull back. The Immortal's still putting out a lot of her 13 kills. Probes being pulled in here as well. 1 Ravager goes down, but watch out. There come the Zerglings, and those Zerglings are a problem. She focus fires! She gets the Archon. The power unit goes down. The Immortal left with very few bodyguards. Stalker's warping in right now to add a little bit of ranged flexibility to this army. Oh, yep, she's just got a few too many units there. Oh, she wanted to get the Overseers, or he wanted to get the Overseers, sorry. He does take down the Overseers, and now his DT is like, yeah, you don't have detection. Take that, Scarlet. Take that. Unfortunately, I think it's a little bit too late. This was a powerful, decisive push, and I'm telling you what, Scarlet has gotten more and more decisive with these sorts of pushes lately. The Queens will go down at the third. Third base does somehow survive. There is a 50 army supply deficit, though, and you know that Overseer is coming. Where is that Overseer, by the way? Oh, did it die? Did the second Overseer died? Oh, here it is. Sorry, guys. There we go. The Overseers are coming. What's he got to defend? An Archon, a pack of Zealots. Okay, so he's going to have 4 Archons and some Zealots. Archons wreck Zerglings. But without batteries to heal them, they're going to be in trouble. Now, there's 3 batteries and a cannon in the natural. That's not really where Scarlet wants to fight. She biles down a cannon and a battery, though. Her Zerglings can just get in that Mineral Iron. I mean, she's going to set up Pervert mode here on those Overseers. She's going to see the army coming. The Queen does go down before it can transfuse that Reddit Point Ravager. I mean, if you can get the Archons to just hit the Ravagers, they'll win easily. But can they actually land those hits? Now, obviously, Estrella's setting up for the Zealots on the right, Archon Zealot Sentry on the left, and he wants to try and force field. Notice she's got Changelings to kind of stop his Archons advancing. So Estrella might actually want to click those Changelings down and get rid of them if possible. The Zealots in the main, more Zealot DT warping up there. The Archons coming in from the left side. The flank on the right a little behind. Archons having to dodge that massive wave of Biles, but the Ravagers are starting to fall here. Queen's coming in, round 2 of the Queen pull. Oh, there's no batteries left on this natural, and Archon falls. As those power units fall, there's nothing left but just a handful of Zealots. If he can kill every Ravager, he might have this. That Archon there, he's trying to... Oh, he's got to pull back these weak Archons, but there's no more batteries in here to fall back on. The DTs are actually doing splendid damage right now. That is really good DT damage. The DT is just going to go after the Queens. They're the slower, less maneuverable unit. Archon's trying to pull back. You don't want to lose those. He holds, and she's got crappy army supply, but she has a 4th base. She's just droned up her 3rd. She's taking the gases. She's got a Spire on the way, an Evo chamber. Even though she's back to very close in army supply, she's got a good worker advantage. So she should be able to pivot into Mutas, and obviously he's so worried about just dying. He's just like making sentries right now. He's making a Robo Bay. This DT harass could be big. If she comes again, those DTs are going to swing into the mineral lines and do damage. The question is, he's got to hallucinate. If he doesn't hallucinate a Phoenix and see the Spire like really soon, he's just dead. Because he doesn't have a Stargate. He doesn't have Blink. If he doesn't start Blink soon, it's not going to be ready in time. And oh my god, will he get a Queen? Doesn't get the Queen there, but he gets 4 drones for a DT. Keeps her pinned back. He's got to think about that. Looks like he just killed a Zergling or something that ran in there, maybe a Changeling. Yeah, right now Estrella has no idea what she's up to. He's going to make Blink, DT, Blink, +2. I mean, that's very cute. He's going to fly a Prism and it'll die to the Prism, so to the Mutas most likely. She has not that much money saved, so arguably it's not a big surprise Muta swinging. Just look at the limited map vision of Estrella. You can tell how awkward this position is for him. He's trying to just guess what's out there in the shadows. He's going to finally get the gases up on the 3rd. I mean, he's got 8 gateways. If he can have a cannon and a battery in the main, it defends the Mutas pretty well. It's like a good beginning. No, don't morph Archons. Oh no. Okay, I think he wants to just get a hatch snipe maybe. That's interesting. I mean, this is... Oh, he's got Blink, right? So he wants to run in, kill DTs, blink away. But now that's being shown. The problem is he doesn't get an attack warning. She does. So she's going to go over there, and he doesn't realize that just happened. So she could go down there with an Overseer and clear up those DTs. Luckily, the Overseer's lagging behind. So if we go to Estrella's camera, get out of there, bro. Get out of there. Oh, he loses 1, 2. 2 DTs go down. Meanwhile, Muta's on the right side of the map. He's got no cannon in the main. If he warps in Stalkers there, he'll be fine. But if he's just warped in DTs, which he's just warped in more DTs there, sending hallucination, but oh, he's got to warp in Stalkers right now. But he doesn't have any gas. He's just spent all of his gas. Ah, that's a game winner. I mean, his economy was already weak. It was behind. It was lagging. He was lagging in army supply as well, but he was making a much better quality army. But losing 13 probes there, I mean, this is an absolute disaster. It's a small commitment. Now she can swing in on the ground with her ground army. And yeah, I mean, despite an amazing hold of her second wave, I think Estrella just took too much damage on the first wave. Great force fields there. Trap some of her units up. DTs are going to go on in. Goes for the Spore Crawler. Does he click the hatchery here? Go for the Queens. Good pull by Scarlet. She just kind of disengages. Remember, there's Mutas here, so you got to recall that, buddy. Where are those Mutas? They're coming. Recall! Recall! Estrella! You're taking too long! Oh, no! Oh, Estrella! He should have known. He should have known. The Mutas are out on the map, dude. Ah, big mistake. Loses a Prism and 3, 4 DTs, potentially. Looks like he gets 1 Archon out, so he loses 2 DTs and a Prism. That's a tough position to be in right now for him. I mean, he's on Blink Stalkers versus Ravager Ling, which is not the greatest army to begin with. And when you're at half the army supply, you've got Scarlet. She's not neglecting her upgrades. Yeah, it's only single Evo upgrading. She's got a Hive. I'm sure she'll remember the second one. And for her, it's a no-brainer decision from here to just go for Ultras. Ultras, Vipers, Ultras Infestors, anything like that. It's going to smash a Stalker Disruptor-focused army. Ultras, Lings do not really care about those units. +2 range starts as well. So she's continuing that mixed Ravager Bane style for now. Ravager Bane is very weak to Disruptors. As long as she spreads her units out, comes in from multiple sides, I think she'll be fine. Chat pointed out, I actually didn't catch some of the Overseer snipes, guys. Apparently he focused down 5 separate Overseers across those battles. Thank you very much, Wriggle, our stats man, who's got his eyes open while I'm too busy shouting at the screen, not actually absorbing what's going on. 5 Overseers during those early pushes were sniped to get the DT hold off. I mean, that's incredible from Estrella. Unfortunately, he's also dead. Oh, good Disruptor shot on the left. Oh my god! Amazing! The balls! The great balls of fire! That was absolutely deadly balls, but Scarlet does not give a shit. She walks through the fire, comes out the other side, burnt, bruised, but with a big fat smile on her face as she rips her Protoss's head off and disrespects, spits his entrails on the floor, and laughs at the demise of her Protoss opponent. Scarlet's not overcomplicating things now. She's on mostly Zerglings. I am surprised there's no Ultras, but she's added Adrenal. He's going to recall some units, but not before almost everything goes down. And I think that's going to be Gigi from Australia. One big ball. She doesn't chase into it, though. You actually really need to have, like, Colossus to deal with the Zerglings, but then they're even worse versus Ultralisks. Oof. He's going to try and do a Blink DT run by, which is very cute. Stalkers! They want to snipe the Vipers so they can't abduct. Get over here! There's too many Zerglings, man. GG, well played. Great Queen walk from Scarlett. 54 drones, Ravagers, Queens, and Lings across the map. She's already up 1 game in this series, and she is looking so good in her Zerg vs Protoss today. It's Shopify Rebellion, Scarlett. And in the top right-hand side of the map, representing Alpha X. The top dog, Max, Mother Truckin' Angel, Estrella. For those who aren't familiar with Estrella, there's probably like 3 of you out there who don't know the guy who won 2 out of 3 of the American Championships last year. A fantastic player. But 3rd place, I think, in both seasons this year behind Scarlett and Neeb. So, if I remember correctly. So, he's a very, very good player. His human name is actually Max Angel. Bit of a wizard. It's a very unique player. Estrella, I think a lot of us often argue that Estrella's early game is probably the best in the world in terms of his openings, and he always brings out these builds that are so unique and his opponents really don't know how to deal with them. So I love watching Estrella games because we learn a lot. I would say he still lacks the clutch plays in the mid to late game of like a, in terms of like just executing well in high pressure scenarios and crazy base trades of like maybe a Zest or who's the most consistent Protoss players? I guess like Classic might come back to be that level since he's already looking fantastic at the moment. It looks like he's still got that magic something, that X factor. Oh, yeah, it's kind of funny. The thing is, I kind of see some of the spots where Estrella looks weak, Trap looks weak there too, and Trap's kind of the best Protoss in the world over the last 2 years. So I'm like, it's relative weakness. It's relative weakness. I do think this is his toughest matchup usually. I do think Estrella does best in PvP, second best in PvT, third best in PvZ usually. I've seen him make amazing comebacks in PvT, but I've also seen him throw advantages in PvT quite a bit. In general, if there's one weak spot we've identified recently, it's like probably sometimes when he's going to a late game Skytoss army, he gets caught in the middle where he's like half and half and the opponent just kills him, where he doesn't quite have enough carriers. Whereas like, I feel like some players are so good at making that transition, like Stats used to almost always survive that transition. He'd just like find a way to pin his opponent back, trade his army out efficiently and replace it with Sky units, whereas it feels like sometimes Estrella sits back a little bit too much in the latter stage. I don't know. Scarlett, on the other hand, I would say her weaknesses are that she blind counters her opponents a little bit. She doesn't scout as much as you would argue you should to be 100% sure of what's going on and 100% reliable. And also she is a little bit adamant about walking queens across the map. Now, I would actually argue that's a strength, not a weakness, but I know there's players who disagree and say a predictable queen walk is a bad queen walk. Well, it's a percentage thing. I think as long as she only does it half the games, it's okay. I do think this is a weaker map for it. If you walk queens, you kind of want to tear these rocks down. You definitely don't want to walk up there. You probably want to walk up here, actually. So I guess you want to walk there and break those rocks. It's a long walk across 2,000 atmospheres. It is, of course, up against Stargate, so a more traditional opening. I don't expect Stray to play full Skytoss. I expect double Oracle. Maybe one Void Ray, but he might even skip that. Maybe double or triple Oracle into ground. And he loves that Twilight Forge Blink Sentry mid-game. So he'll try to rush up to that if possible. Super fast third Nexus. Second Oracle on the way. Overlord does see this, but should not make it to safety. Stalker's going to clean that one up. She's already got a Spore Crawler in her natural, but she may do the Polish Gambit. We'll see. That Spore's not done. Oh, this is greedy. Greedy, greedy, greedy. Her queens are out of position. Oh, damn. 1, 2, 3. Great hiding of which angle the Oracle came from. She wanted to protect drones going to her third base, so she moved her queens up there and ends up opening up that avenue for weakness. 5 drones this early. A fantastic start for Estrella. Scarlett, I was about to say she's only got 1 queen in the main. What a gambler. But no. She's got 2. As long as you got 2 queens in a mineral line, usually you're okay. This mineral line's a little open though. Actually, he could just dive there and do a lot of damage. But that was actually just a mistake from Estrella. The second queen was a bit behind. He could have got 2 or 3 drones and got out. Missed opportunity for Estrella. And like I said, I mean, I don't ever get the feeling that Estrella is an absolute god of multitasking. I think he's a god of strategy. He's a god of knowing where to put his attention at the right time. But if the game gets scrappy enough, I guess that's what I'm touching on. Is it doesn't feel like he's as in control of chaotic situations as some other players. He's just very good at making sure the situation isn't chaotic in the first place. That's a hard skill to develop. Oh, double Oracle dive. He gets 2 drones. Bring it up to 7, keeps the Oracles alive. A little desynced on the Oracles, but you know what? Third base is up, Twilight Forge, and guess what? He's playing Charge Storm. So, this is what I was talking about earlier. Neeb has actually played Charge Storm versus Scarlet, and it pushed her away from Lurkers into Ravager Bane. And I think he might be saying, I feel a lot more confident playing against that. I hate playing against her Lurker Viper late game, dude. She's just too good there. Yeah, Australia's name is hilarious because it's legit how Australians pronounce Australia. Yeah, it's literally the exact same. Oracle does just nip off the edge of the creep. She's got a 4th up. Equal workers still, guys. Holy shit, sorry guys. Didn't get the mute button in time for the first one. Apologies. Infestation bit. So it looks like she does want to play Lurkers. But that's maybe because she's just assuming what she's up against. She doesn't know it's a charge style. Oh, no robo units. He's going to do the push. Oh, she's being very greedy right now, guys. If she builds drones right now, she's dead. She builds 8 drones. Oh my god, I think she's going to die. Notice how he just sends 2 adepts, just a light harassment force. We're on Scarlet's vision, guys. She is only going up to 10 roaches right now at the 6-minute 30 mark. He's already got 2 Archons out of Prism. And guess what? He's going to 10 gateways. She sees an Archon at the 3rd, and she builds 4 more drones. Oh my god, this is... If he's going to push her. So even though he's got a quick 4th, and he actually almost wants her to see that 4th, because it's going to convince her to build even more drones. And she's coming for it. Here comes Archon Zealot, guys. Just outside of vision, he sets up. Big Archon Zealot attack. Going to hit that 4th base. She's got 10 roaches, 10 more on the way. I mean, it's actually not that many Zealots yet. He's got 8 gateways up. Is it only 8? Normally he does this with 10 gates. Oh, it's only 8 gate this time. It's not as committed. He's building Blink behind it. And it looks like, no, there's enough roaches. Ooh, okay. Just going to fall on back. I mean, started stepping into Zealot Archon with roaches. Definitely a sign of Scarlet's bravery. I thought she was being too greedy there, but it turns out those gateways are actually coming up a little bit later than I realized. And swapping into Stalker play right now. So Straya was kind of hoping to catch her being a bit greedy. Now, something Scarlet does like to do when she's going Lurker Viper is she actually plays Roach, Viper, Lurker. No Hydras. She might even skip those Hydra upgrades for a long time. Now, in this game, she is actually going to go... Huh? She doesn't have a Hydra in. The fuck is she doing with a Hydra? She's just playing Roach. She's just playing Mass Roach Viper! Oh, he's trying to make Disruptors right now. She's just maxing Roaches, and he's trying to get Disruptors, which is absolutely the right call, but he's only got 1 Robo. He's got a cannon, he's got a battery. That's a lot of units. Stalkers and Sentries, definitely what he wants here. Oh, it's a great shot. Oh, Stalkers. Oh, he accidentally sends 2 Stalkers. Not a great shot at all. And Stasis Traps are going to come on in. Force Field, Stalker, Archon Wall looking very healthy there. Oh, good fight, good fight. And as the Disruptor comes off cooldown in about 5 seconds, she cannot afford to push into that, I don't think. Oh, no Blink ready. He would love to just blink his Stalkers up there to kill those Roaches on the top flank. Let the Disruptors handle the bottom, because he's losing probes right now, and that he does not want. Of course, the cannon will clear up that northern army. But for now, he's trying to catch these units. Gets 2 of his own Zealots. Not too bad. Gets a bunch of Roach Ravager as well. He's got to pull those probes away, I think. He does have a 4th base up, so losing a few probes is not the end of the world. Zealots are finally going to clear those Roaches. A hold is a hold. That is all he needed right here, but he lost 3 gateways. He's back to 5 gateways. If he doesn't rebuild his gateways right now, he's going to be severely lacking production. It's easy in such a messy situation to forget that you just lost all your gateways. And he seems to have forgotten, or at least not being paying attention to. He's starting air upgrades. There we go. So he's going to replace the gateways at least to get the wall back up. She's got amazing creep spread, though. She does have 2 Vipers as well, and he does not have a Templar Archives. He's trying to go Sky Toss here. Now, I really, in these sort of scenarios, am a big fan of a Protoss player just playing add Storm, add High Templar for feedback, get your Zealot run-bys going, and just engage in a mass ground versus ground play. Because after she's done that, she's not going to have an early Lurker or Broodlord transition. So I don't think you really need to worry about late game tools. You really want to get out there and start moving around the map and threatening. And this is the power, because this is what we've learned from Trap. This is not me saying, oh, I know more about this style than Australia does. It's me saying Trap is the best in the world at this style. And he is so much more active. Zaun does a lot of timing attacks. He's very active, but he's also kind of all in. Now, I don't know what that Prism's doing. It's going to fly right past the Overseer. Scarlet's coming in here. Let's go to Scarlet's camera. Does she notice it? Don't know if she noticed that Prism coming in. She's looking for the Abducts. She grabs an Archon. She grabs an Immortal. Oh, great pickoffs there by Skull. She goes into melee upgrades. Double Spire is going to start up for her as she senses this is going to late game. Zealot dropped down the left side of the map. Australia's turtling up here. He's still only on 8 gateways. As I say that, he drops 5 more gateways. So he's going to go up to 13 gates, which is a good move. There are some High Templar. Looks like one of the Vipers got fed back. Ooh, 4 or 5 Roaches go down to that Disruptor shot. Watch out for the feedback. Don't want to pop it on Overseers, of course. You want that Viper. Zealots run in the right side. Banelings and the Spine Crawler clean it up, but not without expensive losses. Of course, Banelings are a very expensive unit. All of her supply is tied up in Roaches right now. Scarlet's supply is utter trash. And it's not very high damage. It's not very mobile either. I mean, it's not super immobile, but Roaches are just kind of clunky unit to be using at this stage of the game. A lot of Roaches go down at the front of the map. Zealots are going to take out the Hive. Oh, no! She's got to kill those Zealots real quick. 500 hit points, 400, 300, 200, 100, and the Hive goes down. No more Vipers for you. She starts a lair. She starts a spawning pool. She knows that this is potentially a big problem. She's starting melee and carapace upgrades. She didn't even get an Ultra Cavern down. She's got 2 Spires, but she can't make Greater Spires. She can't make a Hydrodin. So she can't make Lurkers, Broodlords, or Ultras. She is stuck on a mid-game Ravager Bane army for the next couple of minutes. And this is a big problem for Scarlet. Right now, Estrella is going into carriers. Now, that's kind of an issue. Is all the units she's missing, it doesn't matter against carriers because she can build Corruptors and upgrade them. But I kind of wish Estrella just started pushing right now and said, hey, you're stuck on Master Roach, let's fight. I think he gives her a little bit too much map control in this scenario. I don't think he's behind. Don't get me wrong. I think Estrella is playing a great game and is maybe ahead. We'll have to keep our eyes on it. Prism. There's still a Viper on it. Look at that Viper. Oh my god, it's just turning its head back and forth. Hey there. Hello. Oh, I don't know why. That was just fucking incredible. The way it was just curving its head back and forwards. +2 Zealots are going to trade okay versus these Zerglings. Of course, Zerglings only on +1 melee right now. Stalkers on the left side going to try and clear up the creep. He's still very turtled as Estrella, so he's just going a full late game Sky Toss. So I guess he is confident in the late game. He's going to clear up that creep, which is really big. Now he's just trying to kind of defend and wait for her to get over eager. Which is, I think that's fine. Whoops. That's not on purpose, is it? Is he... I mean, you want Guardian Shield, don't you? I don't know why. Is he actually pretending they're real? That's so funny. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or not, but he decides to hallucinate some Colossi, because why not? 2-2 on the way, and the Hive has been rebuilt. 2-2 can start up on the Spire. And is there anything else that Scarlet goes for? She's got 2 Vipers and only 6 Corruptors right now. There's 8 carriers. There's very little Psystorm in here. Only 2 High Templar. They do have full energy, though, so... Ooh, was that an abduct on a hallucination, I think? Oh, gets a feedback on the other Viper. Oh my god, that's a lot of Banelings, though. That is a lot of Banelings. Those Disruptors running forward to their death. Not great micro by Estrella there. And he does lose that whole army. His carriers are just going to try and A-move the Corruptors right now. But, I mean, even with similar unit counts, Corruptors do counter those carriers. This is a very expensive trade for Estrella to be taking. Is it going to be enough? She's got a giant bank. She does not have much lava. She's building Zerglings for the Stalkers and Roaches. She's building Queens for general support that doesn't cost gas. And I imagine she should be doing nothing but building Corruptors beyond that. Estrella unable to snipe a base here. Does pull back. I feel like just looking at the compositions he keeps forcing Scarlet into, if he could just make a good ground army, right? Zealot Like, just make Archons, Immortals, and Storm. I don't think the way she's playing can deal with that. I mean, this composition sucks. Yeah, she could make... I guess she could make Broodlords reactively, but I don't even know. I feel like if you're on a heavy ground army, it's going to be hard for her to deal with multi-prong. Really, I don't know. It's hard to say. These late game scenarios are so complicated. There's so many ways to play it. 4 Ravagers for a Disruptor, but she lands big Biles. Watch out for the Archon. And, oh, feedback instead of Psystorm. That was a surprise. I thought we'd see a Psystorm for shoresies. The Archon Stalker will help a lot against those Corruptors. And I think that might just be a game winner for Estrella. Scarlet trading so badly into that. Just caught with too little anti-air. Far too much Roach supply for that late in the game. They're just such an inefficient unit for the late game. GG's. Alright, the Queen of Blades, the Canadian Warrior of Zerg. Representing Shopify Rebellion, it is Scarlet. Now her opponent in the bottom left-hand side, representing Alpha X. He's Max. He's an angel. It's Max Angel. It's Estrella. One of my favorite pro players, because he does bring such creativity. And he's doing it here again, guys. Do you know what we're seeing? The Blackburn build. He showed it to us last week. 2 weeks ago in EPT, actually. Showed it to us against Scarlet on this exact map. And he's doing it to her again. It's going to be a Nexus first. Pressure with a couple of depths. And then he's going to go 6 sentries into a quick third base behind it. Now, Scarlet actually caused him a lot of trouble, I believe, with a Roach Queen push. I think she Queen Roach walked and he kind of struggled to hold on, but I think he ended up in a good position afterwards. If I remember correctly, that's what went down. I could be confusing it with a different series potentially, but essentially Scarlet here, I mean, she's just opening completely normal. I kind of wish she did something a bit riskier, like took the gold first or something like that, because this is such an efficient build for Estrella. It slows down his tech and his pressure a little bit. So you might be like, oh, well, you can just be really greedy against the Nexus first because their tech is late. Estrella's like, well, I pressure you with 2 Adepts as a little in-between pressure just to force you to build some Zerglings. And then I just build sentries. And you're like, well, they're not good aggressive units either. So I can be even greedier. And he's like, yeah, but I'm getting a third at like 3 minutes 30. So I'm also being as greedy as you could possibly be. Unless you got away with 3 hatch before pool and doing nothing but building drones, you're in trouble. Now, for those who don't know, Ravagers are 3 supply, Roaches are 2 supply, and they both have a fraction of the damage output of a Hydralisk. So definitely Hydras might have been a better option. Lurkers would have been a more efficient anti-ground option for sure, and freed up more supply for the Corruptors to kill the air in that last game. Winner of this will play up against Clem in the Grand Finals, guys. They get to defend their title. The North American pride against the guy who got cheesed out earlier today. Clem rage queuing into the North American Cup looking for revenge. There we go. There's that double chrono boost. First Adept might be later, but if you make 2 at once, you can still get a pretty decently timed Adept pressure in before Ling speed finishes. Not long before, but it'll force some Lings out. And we expect 2 sentries behind that. So remember, there's almost 200 gas ready. Look at the way this times out. Sentry, as the Adepts finish. Isn't that perfect? 200 gas at that exact moment. That's why the tech's very late. So I'm not sure if he goes Forge first, or is it Robo first? Definitely some form of very defensive tech. I like that. She pulls him back there. But the Adept there says, denied. And he's already chilling at his third base, ready to take it. Oh, he's so greedy. Now she's forced into 10 Zerglings here. So he's got to be careful. He's going to shade the Adept forward. But he's got to be real careful. He knows that Ling speed's ready right now. And drops the third base and then just sends the Adepts back. So I would say over-respect from Scarlet there. Over-respect. I would try to get away with just 6 or 8 Zerglings up against this. I know that's only the difference of 1 or 2 more drones. But definitely something where that third base timing has got to piss you off as a Zerg player. Now those sentries in the wall look a little derped. But I think it's okay. Yeah, that one at the front's a little exposed. You could try to headbutt that with the Zerglings, but you might get force field trapped. Now, Hallucination is going to be his budget scouting tool, as he doesn't have Stargate, doesn't have Observers, and he's doing nothing but building sentries right now. 4 sentries, 5 sentries, and probably build 1 more there as well. No, he goes Forge and Twilight after 5 sentries. It's a really cool build order, because sentries are so flexible. Great scouting units, great for defense, especially the longer they're in the game, the more energy they gather. And if you get enough energy on them, and you pair them up with some actual powerful units, they're great for turning into an aggressive unit, using force fields to split your opponent's army when you do eventually go across the map. Now, Scarlet's doing a great job here of being quite greedy herself. She does drop a Roach Warren, but she's not actually building any roaches or planning to. She's doing nothing but droning, building overlords, and a very quick fourth base on the gold. Now, Australia's going to come in again, but will he go to that gold base, I wonder? Oh, he's actually hallucinated a Prism and an Immortal, and he's hoping to get spotted here. It's a fake out. So she sees a Prism, Immortal, a bunch of sentries. She's going to immediately panic build roaches, but she just built drones, which is really fortunate for her, because she's absolutely biting the bait and going, oh shit, no, oh, but she, fortunately for herself, is actually supply blocked right now. She's extractoring just to get more supply to build roaches. She's like, shit, this is a complete fake out. Australia does not plan on committing at all here. He's just gonna go home now. Unfortunately for him, he didn't force that much roachling out of her because she'd just built 8 drones. So if she happened to see that right as her lava injects popped and she had all this lava, she'd be like, oh no. But instead she just built 8 extra drones. So instead of freezing up at 52 workers, if she saw it a few seconds earlier, it's 60 workers. So it doesn't really cause too much of a ruckus. It just kind of fakes her out a little as he builds this actually very late robo. Blink and +1 on the way as well. Now, I'm not sure if she could see him there. She could not. So he's going to wait with that. And I think the trick with these adepts is you just leave them there until Scarlet's actually attacking you, and then you just shade them into the gold base, shift-click drones. It's a nice, easy, low APM way of doing things. Back at home, Stalker Sentry count's growing, a second Robo and a Robo Bay. And an Overseer around the back for Scarlet is going to confirm all of that. She's got some Ling spotters. She sees the Stalker Sentry coming across the map. Immediately responds with a few more roaches in production. Well, they were actually already building. And these adepts are actually going to go in the third base, I guess, because the army's... Oh, so he's going to distract and try to force field. So look, he distracts there, and he was hoping she left the drones there so that he could force field them and trap them up against the minerals where they could get sniped. But nonetheless, a great move. Denied mining on the gold base, and 8, 9, 10 drones. Oh, well, doesn't focus fire towards the end. I don't think he was expecting to kill so much, so he only queued up attack commands on 9. Gets a few active tumors, pulls back, disruptors +2 on the way. Scarlet, she was in a good economic position. I feel like she navigated this weird build really well, but she needs to get drones back on that gold base. She's going to go Hydra Lurker this game, back to her mainstay style that she tends to do so well against Australia with. His Stalker's going to back on off. Because Australia's been so consistent with leaving a hallucinated Phoenix out front, he would have been able to react very hard into cannons and units and things if she did push across. But as it is, he's playing a fantastic, like, just super efficient economic style. He's going to take this 4th base on the front. I like that choice. It's really hard for Zerg to get an army down here, and they're attacking into a choke point next to disruptor production. It's a bad area for them to attack. And obviously they can do it. So then you can kind of just focus on the front. And by pushing through the middle, you're also defending your base simply because it's along your rally point. So I like the sort of aggressive base positioning for Australia versus the more defensive base positioning of Scarlet, expanding away from the Protoss, trying to get herself more room to spread the creep, more time to react, more area for her to kind of set up her spreads, her flanks, time to pull back against disruptor shots, disengage, and buy herself a little bit of extra space to work with. Now, double disruptors are on the way, 4 disruptors out, 2 more coming. Oh, she does a poo! Scarlet says, you know what I think of Protoss players? And he's like, what? And her face kind of tenses up a little bit. And she's like, and he's like, what? She just takes her shit right on his doorstep and runs away laughing. So +2 gets delayed. That's going to, of course, delay the consecutive upgrades as well. Prism Zealot drop into the main, though, and a big old Stalker Sentry Disruptor army going to move through the middle of the map. They've got an Observer as well, so they will be able to nip off the edge of the creep spread. Vipers are on the way there for Scarlet. Does she have any upgrades? She's got +1, and she's building a second Evo chamber. +2 is on the way. Templar Archives coming in for Estrella, so he's going to get those High Templar, but not in time, I think. Actually, you know what? She doesn't have energy yet. Her Vipers are just coming out. Lings! Okay, big Ling long run by. Stalkers are skirmishing at the front of the base. Oh, not in position. Big Stalker warp in there. Zergling's pretty good versus Stalkers, but they don't have melee. So I think Estrella's kind of okay with this. Oh, God, Estrella. Ow. Some Zerglings getting there. Cannons, batteries, and good unit spreadies. All of these Zerglings were sacrificed basically to distract and delay Estrella attacking, which is not too bad. They're just Zerglings. They weren't the most useful units. He's now got to put his workers back on gas. He's got to kind of fix up his base for a little bit. This is why I put a cannon down in every mineral line. When I get to like 80 workers in this matchup, I always have a cannon in every mineral line now. So if 10 lings run in my base, I just ignore them. I'm like, you're not going to do anything. Probably going to run into the cannon and die. I like this Roach Ravager run by. Cannons are not up here yet, but Estrella setting up Zealot Spotter. It's kind of far back, but it'll give him enough warning. But look at that, Viper, Lurker. Uh-oh, you're going to have to move units up to that top left. He's sending some Stalkers that way. Lurker's very good versus Sentry Stalker. And they can outrange cannons as well. They've got the +2 range advantage, guys. Stalker Sentry up there could absolutely deal with that, especially with the cannons kicking in. At least some of the cannons kicking in anyway. One cannon goes down, another one cancelled. This base is not really in big trouble yet. A few probes go down in the gas, but that's it. Oh, Australia needs to get these High Templar out here. If he can feed back the Vipers, he's fine. Oh, he feedbacks the Overseer. That's not what he wants. He really needs to get rid of these Lurkers. Finally, he's going to throw some shots out. But I love the way she's zoning right now. And oh, the Lurker shots are bugging. There's some pieces of terrain that bug Lurker shots. Her Lurkers were trying to shoot the High Templar, but they weren't going across the gap. It's not meant to happen, but it occasionally happens. Ooh, that shot does actually get a lot of damage on the Lurkers. Is it going to be enough, though? He's the one who's in trouble. Australia needs to defend here. She needs to back off. Okay, she's lost too many Lurkers now. That being said, she does get a bunch more probes. That Lurker on the left gets so many probes. And you know what? Her army on the left is even doing good. Oh, Australia not able to handle this situation. His Stalkers should be able to fight that, but look, he's move commanding. Ooh, Australia, unfortunately, move commanding on the left flank. I thought Australia was actually really well set up in this game. A little ahead of her on tech. But that Zergling run by seems to have flustered him. I really feel like he was so ready to take charge of the game. All she did was force him to look at his base for a minute or two, and that bought her the time to split her army and get across the map. Good disruptor shots, but the 4th base goes down. And with that 4th base going down, I mean, that's it. She's just rallying in off that 78 worker. Tons of lings, tons of lurkers. He's trying to snipe him down, but he just lost too much ground too early. The trick against lurkers, siege tanks, these sort of armies is you're meant to intercept them on the map and slow them down. But the moment he was forced to stand in siege range and fight, it was always going to be a bad trade for him. So you cannot let them move across the map. That's a zoning army, Stalker Disruptor. Intercept them in the middle of the map, catch them unsieging, burrowing, unburrowing, and then you've got plenty of space to pull back, do a run by, do a counter attack, and chip away at it over time. But he took a little bit too long there. All right, guys, going into map 4 of this best of 5. Scarlet's in the top right, forced to take her 3rd base, so Australia actually going to commit to denying that. Of course, Australia in the bottom left going for a very standard 20 Nexus, 20 Cybercore. Ooh, we didn't mine the 5 minerals in between. What a noob! You just missed mining 5 minerals! It's because he's being super annoying with his probe, so he's prioritizing that. Fair enough. Ooh, those probes moving around. Alright, so pretty chill opening so far. What we're going to keep our eyes on is number 1. What does Australia do with his Cybercore? If he starts Warp Gate straight away, that's going to give Scarlet the idea that he's playing Twilight. If he doesn't, then it gives her the idea that he's playing Stargate. So at the moment, she can't confirm anything, but it's because he might cancel that in a moment and then put his Stargate down. We'll keep our eyes on it. Doesn't look like that's the case. Twilight Council goes down. And she saw that as well, I believe. She saw that spinning, so she knows. She knows that this is most likely Twilight. She can't confirm, but there's going to be a Stalker next. Now, that's interesting. He does see the Overlord coming in, and that Twilight's pretty far off to the left, but that pylon should be easy to spot. The moment she sees the pylon, you're going to see her go straight left, because she knows, once she sees the pylon, she knows the tech has to be in that area. She's going to lose it to the Stalker 100%, but she's fine with that. She's not invested in Overlord speed. It's a very efficient opening for her. It's just like, yeah, and you see the moment she sees the pylon, straight to the left. So just good high-level scouting. Robo goes down, another gateway there. And I think he might go Glaives, but he's just going to wait to kill the Overlord before he drops it. He also didn't have the gas because he was going to Robo, so it's kind of natural with the Glaives build for it to be delayed. Adept needs to get out of there. Glaives does start up. Alright, so 3-gate Robo Glaives. Now, 3-gate Glaives without the Robo is usually for a quick 3rd, but there we go. There's that 4th gateway. As long as it starts before the Warp Prism starts, you're kind of fine. Stalker and Adept in the wall. Not going to be able to do anything there. Scarlet does see that it is a robo. I think that's why she checked back in, just to confirm it was a robo and there was no DT shrine. She's got a very quick Roach Warren on the way, guys, so she's going to be pretty well prepared. With that Roach Warren timing, I think she's probably going to build 3 Roaches and try to make 3 Ravagers very quickly, especially with the second gas. Normally you'd go 3 Roaches into Ravagers and use a lot of Zerglings with that defense as well, so she shouldn't be droning any more than this, if that's the case. Yeah, 3 Roaches start the second the Roach Warren finishes. It's my favorite way to defend the Adepts as well, and it can really shut it down if your opponent gets a little bit too greedy. Those Zerglings out there. See extra Adepts coming, and this kind of tells you what you're up against. 38 probes for Astray. He's already moving out to take a quick third. He does not like living without a third base. Means he's very open to counterattacks with this sort of build as well, though. Creep is going to connect this base. Notice that connecting there is very important. It's not ready just yet. Her Queen's especially going to be exceptionally slow. A few Lings go down. That Ravager Cocoon does die. Essentially, you get a Roach kill and a little bit of bonus resources lost. There's no DT Shrine, but the Prism acting like it wants to do just that. And the Adepts are going to take down a Queen. Oh, that's really nice. Does lose 1 Adept, cancels the Shade, loses another Adept. Could have killed a few Zerglings there with a bit of a better stutter step. But third Nexus is on the way, as are the Immortals. And there is a lot of Ling Roach on the way right now. As this continues to be committed to by Estrella, Scarlet is holding down the fighting key. The Zergling drone key. Now she builds drones. She feels like she's okay. She's got to watch out. This Prism could come in and do damage right now. He's missing an opportunity as Estrella. Now, he sent all of his Adepts home except 2 on the left and 2 in the Prism on the right. He's busy macroing right now. Let's go to Estrella's camera. I think he wants to 2-prong it. But yeah, he's missing an opportunity. We're on his camera. Let's watch it. He gets 1 drone. Should get at least 2 or 3. Not to mention the mining time. He's looking for a drone coming out of the gas as well, or popping out of those eggs. And he's going to get 1 on the way back, 2 on the way back. Oh, very cute. She assumed he was going to pick up and leave. Let's go back to everyone's camera. She's got a giant pack of Zerglings, but he's got 5 Adepts guarding that third base. Second Immortal about to pop out. Oh, he's warping in sentries. Adepts, sorry, not sentries. You'd expect sentries at this point, but he's actually going to go for a big push out now with Immortal Adept. Now that Immortal is running the other way around. Oh no! She's going to get a snipe on the Immortal. Oh, that's so expensive. I mean, she does lose a lot of Zerglings. But I think any Zerg will take that trade. It's like, hey, do you want to take this, like, 17 kids I accidentally popped out and I don't even want them anymore? And I'll take your fucking prize billionaire tech CEO, you know, in the making Immortal, you know? Take that trade in there. I think Australia was going to do a push. I'm pretty sure he was going to just go across to the Adept Immortal, but losing an Immortal, he now changes his mind. I think that's bad. I think he still should have pushed across the map because he made so many Adepts. I mean, why not? Right? Get across that map, and while you're distracting him, send this bloody Adept in. Now, he's queued that Shade up. It's actually nice for him. They're automatically going to kill that drone, but he should cancel the Shade. 100% cancel! Cancel. Yeah, as long as you hide those Adepts back, you can come back in later. Prism on the right side gets pushed out by Queens. Units lost tab, 2 Adepts and Immortal for 5 drones, 25 Zerglings, an Overlord and a Queen. I mean, that's a great trade for the Protoss player, but the Immortal still just, it hurts a bit, man. That's 375 resources. You know, that's more than half of your units lost tab is that Immortal. Now, Disruptors and Stalkers are on the way. You're up to 4 gates with 2 on the third and 2 more in the main. Going up to 8 gateways is Estrella. And Changeling does see the Prism going home. That is a speed Prism? No, it's not. But he's going to look for a Disruptor shot anyway. I like the non-Disruptor version, especially if the Observer kind of sees where their army is. You come in from the shadows. He's going to even do a ground push with it, but he's got to remember to bring that Warp Prism if he goes for it. He's looking for a very quick 4th base. Is Estrella. He likes to have that big economy. Now, she's on mass Roachling. Bane speed starts up. She's making a fighting army of 66 workers. If he overcommits into that, he'll be in big trouble. There's the Depths here. Pick off a few Zerglings, but that 4th base denied for now. Okay, gets a few Zerglings. And we'll retake that 4th base. Adepts here ready to dive on this 4th base. Of course, he denied that attempt up there. So I love this attempt. Just shade it in and keep doing it, you know? As long as the Zerg doesn't have absolute map control, they can't really stop you just continuing to do that. He's going to send a big Adept wave down the left side of the map, simplifying his main army. Even though Adepts are pretty good for killing Zerglings, the moment Banelings are in there and lots of Ravagers, it's kind of like, well, this is just a trash unit at this point. It's not going to do that much. Adepts taking out Zerglings. Youchies. couple Zerglings go down, but in the end of the day, neither player really needs those units. Observer Adept clearing map control. Oh, I like that. That's real cute. And then the Observer should come join the army on the right for sure. Got to get rid of this creep. She's got too much map vision. She's gone up to 82 workers now, has Scarlet. So she was sitting on 66 for a long time and then just bam, 15 drones at once. Saturates her 4th base, but she is on a basic bitch army. Now, the big trick here for Estrella is it's all about information. If he realizes that she's just looking at ambush, it should be fine for him. But right now, he's going in blind, and he's about to get jumped. I think Scarlet might get the 3-1, just because he does not realize how well set up she is for this. Oh, he's actually pulling back to the choke point very well. He can easy force field her here. She's got to pull back. This is not a good fight for Scarlet, especially if he force fields. His force fields were a little bit late, but I don't think it matters. I think that's fine for him. He actually does a great recall there. He's going to lose a few of these units. Part of me wonders if he could have just warped in there and hung on. Does lose a few units there, but some pretty awesome disruptor shots. I mean, this is still a great trade. The Adepts are coming in, doing a lot of damage to these workers as well. Of course, they'll continue in and just see what else they can kill. The Banelings, though, a big problem for those Adepts. But nice spread into the mineral line. Focus fire the drones. Doesn't really focus the drones as much as I would have liked to see. But nonetheless, he's cascading across that map again. I wouldn't mind a Colossus transition at this point. I think, honestly, against this style from Scarlet, when people stay on Ravager Bane too long, if you just add double Robo Colossus Immortal to your army, Nice has showed us that destroys a lot of Zerg players. It's a different style. It's not really in his wheelhouse, Estrella's wheelhouse, but it is what it is. Trades a Stalker there with the Disruptor shot. Stalker bait, takes out the Zerglings. Not a bad trade at all. And the army of Scarlet's looking very sparse. She's actually lower on army supply right now. Those Ravagers trying to set up the flank. The drones have already abandoned the base right now. And look at that. No escape. Great disruptor shots. He's got more. He's got more. Scarlet cannot close this. Oh my god, that one was perfectly dodged by her, but now he can blink on her. Oh, he has the bigger army, but he's running away. No, you can fight this, Estrella. Your army's better. Oh, he's got Zealots in the main. Okay, fair enough. I guess he's looking there. He actually had a better army, and her Ravagers were exposed. She did have Lings rallying in, but I think if he jumped on the Ravagers, like, if he just blinks on those Ravagers, that's actually GG. Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of Zerglings in there now. Okay, so now he's got to go back to being a little more cautious. And considering he's more of a late game player with lots of tech units as a specialty, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing more of that. He's killing a lot of her drones, but she's still got a hefty worker count. And good shift click with the Zealots, getting quite a few drones. He's going to rotate to the left side, but it's still pure Stalker army. Oh man, it's very close army supplies. So I think this is an awkward spot to be in as Scarlet. I do think it's better for Estrella, but if he gives her time to add more and more Zerglings and stuff, that does get a bit awkward. He's pure Stalker Disruptor right now, which is, it can be great, but it's so reliant on the Disruptor shots, and that's where the whole fragility comes. If you ever get surrounded, Blink is worth jack shit. Disruptors are worth jack shit if they go down before their shots go off, right? The problem is that this army will perform well in every situation. That's why I get nervous looking at this for Estrella when his tournament life is on the line. It's because, like, if he had a giant ball of Immortal Arc on Storm, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty hard to fuck this up. Whereas I would argue it's very easy to fuck up Stalker Disruptor army control and lose the game. It takes a real sensitive hand. And Estrella does have that. He's definitely in the lead right now, guys. She's stuck on Ravager Bane. 1-1 upgrades versus +2 for him. He's got +3 Sight Storm on the way. She does have Vipers, but he's got High Templar to feedback. So that zoning battle is really important. The question is, who has the vision advantage? His observers on patrol. Oh, great disruptor shot. Comes out there and gets the Ravager Baneling. And he's sending more Zealots across the map as well. Going to be a problem for those queens. He loses his 5th base. Who cares? I don't think he cares about losing his 5th. The Zealots are going to take him out, man. Those are +2 Zealots up against queens with only +1 range attack. So all the queens are going down to Scarlet, but look, she's setting up a giant spready. Is that enough, though? Look, he's chipping away at her. He says, "Bold!" And she's like, what? What is wrong with you PROTOSS players? You just run around the map shouting balls? It's ridiculous. Balls! Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, way too much splash. I do like the angling she came from, but it was a last-ditch effort. He keeps pulling back through the choke points, evading the surrounds. Expertly done by Estrella. All right, we know what she did last time. She got to a deciding match on Beckett, and it was... That's right, she tried to do a 12 pull and then pull all of her drones to drill through the wall. And unfortunately, it got spotted and held by Neeb. This is Shopify Rebellion Scarlet. Let's see if she goes for something very wild again. So far, looks all standard. In the top right, her opponent going to come across with a very early probe to block her hatchery. It's Alpha X Estrella. Now, I would expect Scarlet to go for a 17 pool, guys. Maybe 16, but probably 17. Oh, she's not building a drone. And she's not, yep, so 16 pool even. 40 seconds. And she'll send a drone down, I believe, and she'll hide it from the probe, is what I would imagine. She's already clicking it to the third, but I think she'll stop it there, and she will see what's up. Probe sees that go past. Yeah, so she's going to wait. And when she sees the probe come back, she'll go there, but she doesn't see the probe coming in. She's waiting for it. She's like, come on, buddy. Come on. Fine, I'll take my third base. Oh, she really does not want to do that. She does not like... She's like, God damn. Pool first and I have to take my third? Shit. The upside, honestly, if you take your third with the pool first, is your queen injects and then she walks down there. So as soon as the hatchery is ready, you still have a queen ready on it. So I think it ends up being a queen on your third at about the same time, maybe even slightly earlier. That probe going to come on in. Sees the pool gas timing. Sees the 4 Zerglings. And he's already gone 2-gate Zealot. Oh no. This is just a 16 pool, dude. Wait, oh, he's going to rally Zealots to her third? Is he going to build shield batteries at her base? Oh, what? Guys, he's chrono boosting 3 Zealots. Oh, he cancelled one of them. Oh, this is a really weird position. I mean, she's starting Ling Speed now. She'll have that ready. He's going to chrono 2 Adepts across the map, which is really good for a small map, but he needs to get that Nexus started yesterday. It's already a minute late, so it's going to be about a minute late on the Nexus. Oof. And he needs to start a probe right now. So he's sending 2 Zealot, 2 Adept Pressure. She's building a Spine Crawler, which is a fascinating choice. I don't think that will get up, but maybe. The other Zealot's kind of lagging behind. Spines build pretty quick. It's a cute response. She's trying to get that creep tumor down, and he needs to get in there right now. If he can get rid of the creep tumor and the spine, he's in a great spot. He's already forcing a lot of Zerglings out of her. He's gone back into probing and his second gas behind it. Now he's actually backing off right now, which is kind of wild how conservative that is. Does she let the spine finish? I would if I was her, yeah. She's built 14 Lings and Ling Speed and a spine, and he's like, yeah, it's fine. I'm going to go home, which makes sense. He's going to assume she's going to play safe. It's Beckett. It's a crazy situation. And look, now her third is very delayed. Goes down at 320. He's up one probe. Now, obviously, she can go back to workers faster than him. She's got 2 queens, and she's got Ling Speed, so she's got map control. Shield battery there just for safety, a little bit of insurance. And he's got a Stargate up there. I think this is a totally playable situation for him. It does feel, though, like she will get a bit ahead on the workers now. And you know what? I don't actually think 14 Zerglings is too many. I think if he hung around a bit longer, he could have got her to maybe build another 6 Zerglings, and then I think he'd be ahead. But as it is, check that out. She's already up 3 workers. So to contrast, normally in a standard game, the Zerg doesn't really catch up in workers until about 32. They're usually behind before that, whereas in this game, they've been pretty much even. And then it's around like 40, 50 work. And then I guess around 40 to 50, the Zerg can pop ahead by a few workers, but then they usually have to build units, and then it evens, and then they get a bit ahead, and then it evens out because they've got to build spores and roaches and all that sort of stuff. And then it's not usually until PROTOSS is at like 55, 60 workers where the Zerg's like, oh, I can go 70, 80 workers
Thanks
a bit
for the
ahead
Bezos
of you,
box.
and have like a gap. Like, it's actually quite common in Legacy of the Void to have a very similar worker count. So her already having the lead is, I think, really good for her. She's got the third base up. She delayed her third queen a lot. She just skipped some injects on the third, got some creep tumors going. She's now building a few extra queens. She's on 3 queens, going to 4. So she's staying relatively queen light. Now the oracles have hidden themselves for now. Zerglings will get that third base. Estrella very cautious there. That oracle could find some damage. Thank you very much for the cheers, guys. Really appreciate the love. Oracle! Ooh, okay. Well, she was looking really good on the drones, and she still is looking really good on the drones. Testament to her greed, guys. She loses 6 workers, but she just ran in and sniped the probe. The third base gets delayed again. Oh, he's hashtag triggered at this point. Faux show. The Oracle does just take an extra hit unnecessarily because he did not queue it far enough away. It's a bad habit Estrella sometimes shows, is he'll just leave his Oracle idling. Everyone does it once in a while. Now, Glaives is on the way behind this, and notice he's hiding the rest of his Adepts back there. So, oh, don't F2, don't F2. It's not time to go yet, Estrella. Oh, he shows it to her. Don't show her. Now she's going to build more roaches. I mean, I'm not sure she realized how closely she was watching. Sell it! Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god. Whew. So we're going to have that Glaive Adept attack coming across the map real soon. She's building 4 roaches, a 5th roach. She doesn't really know what's happening. She's building a mix of everything. Notice Scarlet is building extra overlords because she doesn't know what's happening right now. She doesn't know what she's going to need to build, so she wants to have the supply free to be reactive. But Beckett does not give you a lot of time to react. Resonating Glaives is done in 30 seconds, so he's going across the map a little bit before it's actually ready, but I think just shade into the natural and dive. I think that's a great way to do it here. Terrible stasis trap from him. He actually cancels, so very cautious. I kind of wouldn't have minded him shading, but you know what? The Ravagers are on top. Glaives isn't ready. Fair enough. Does make sense. That Glaives being delayed does slow him down a little bit. Oh my god! Oh my god, Bender bending! Cias, Arai, Capistora, Wiseacre, MS Blueberry, and Cuschi. Thank you very much, everybody, for the love. I really appreciate the support. Oracles get a big tag down. We're going to give you guys a big bacon slap and a big thank you after this series. But right now, guys, the attack is coming. Sweet Zerg justice for the Scarlet fans. Put your hands in the air like you just don't care because the Queens are about to march. And some players, they play StarCraft their own style. Some players, though, march to the beat of their own drums, and some march to the beat of their own queens. The Bile! Battery overcharge keeps the Robo alive, but where's the damage output? I mean, it's great for killing Zerglings, actually. Oh, he is smashing the Zerglings right now. But Biles do take out 2 Adepts there. These Ravagers on their own aren't the best against this. I mean, the Lings are getting trashed. It's just the Ravagers can kind of kite the Adepts a little bit. The Lings do get absolutely smashed down. The Oracles could come in, but the Queens are there. Oh, this has really caught him off guard. I think it's time to warp in Stalkers, honestly, for Estrella. I think just Stalkers is a general range unit. He's building more batteries, more cannons. This is great defense. He's about to lose his Cybercore, though, which is a huge problem. Does lose the Cybercore, does some damage, of course, to her army in response to that. But look at that. That's a depowered Robo. He's got to kind of fight this. He's got to just go for it. And he's going to try and fight there, start focusing down those Ravagers. But dude, these batteries just keep going down. Down. Oh my god. She surprised him on Beckett with a big old Queen Walk. It just hit a bit harder than he was expecting. And the way she sinks her Biles and hits key targets, spectacular. He didn't have enough backup pylons. He loses his static. She's so clean. Every 7 seconds, like clockwork, you lose a static defense, you lose a pylon. And there's usually no chance to healing it. Other than the clutch healing on that Robo Pylon at the start, there is just not enough. I mean, this is a Beckett game at its core. Action from start to finish. Zealots and Adepts going up against the pool pressure. We saw a Zergling pressure come out. We saw Oracles dive, Adept pressure. But he didn't find enough direct damage. And she said, look, you made me build a lot of army, and now I'm going to march that army across the smallest map in the pool. And we are going to smash! GG!